You know, it's been crazy working. Just left it on a cliffhanger. It's been crazy working from or doing this from a studio, and then like to in your home. You know, it's quite humbling. But the Lord blessed me with that time, and here we are. Here we are. We're gonna let some people join in, and then we will get started. If you are watching the preview, I'm sorry, the rerun. Hello. If you're still watching, you know, skip. Get to the part where I start talking about football. But very exciting stuff. Pretty good divisional round games. Two of them kind of sucked, I think. Yeah, two of them sucked. But the other two, really good. Hopefully that we can have some really good matchups in these championship games. I'm feeling really good about one of them. The other one, I think, may be a blowout. I don't think it will be, but it could be. I still haven't given my predictions on paper, so it's going to be more of a win thing. But it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Just waiting for some more people. No one ever joins right away, man. Ever. You know, I could probably put that on my backpack. That's better. Oh, we got one person in the chat. Hola, mi amigo or mi amiga. Hope you are well. That one person, shout out to that one person for ending left. Just like that. That's so sad. I can't even tell who's in the chat, you know, unless you comment something. My client scratched me today. Can't even, you know. It's cool. It's cool for real. It's fine. No worries. Bum, 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 dun. All right, we're going to give it about 30 more seconds or so, and then we'll really start getting it going. Just let people know. That's why you got to have the post notifications on so that, you know, people can know that you're going live. Or that you can know that you're going live. Or someone else is going live. Man, it's been a long day. It wasn't even a bad day. You know, it's just a long day. Long day. All right. And get going here in 5, 4, 3, 2. Bow. Heron's Highlights. It's your boy Elijah, or Eli, whatever you want to call me. Depressed Falcons fan. That's another name you can call me. But you know, it is what it is. How's it going? Happy Thursday to all of those that celebrate out there. It is quite a good Thursday because tomorrow is Friday, so every Thursday is good. Cheese It Man says, hey. Brittany Maxey says, hi. Hey, friends, how are we? Welcome to the NFC and AFC Championship previews. Both games are on Sunday, so we'll start off with the AFC game first. New England, they advanced against the Texans, 28-16. Quite the game that was, if you like messy football, you know. Luxury Porter says hi. She's a man says, you like college football? Absolutely, I love college football. This is an NFL-based show, but we can chat some ball if you want. Brittany Maxey says, who's your team? I like the Falcons. Very tough time. We did just hire Stefanski, so I like that hire. But college, I like the Georgia Bulldogs. I think you could tell where I live. All right, so we're going to start with the AFC game. It's going to be a quick show just because there's only 2 matchups, but we will try to go as in-depth as we can for each game. So, AFC Championship game, New England at Denver. Welcome back. You know, it's Drake May versus Jarrett Stidham, so welcome back, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. You know, good enough. It is what it is. Cheese It Man says, what did you think in the national championship? I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a fun watch. You know, Indiana looked good. They didn't even look really great. You know, they just looked good. Miami looked good for like a quarter. The third and the fourth quarter, they looked good. Like a quarter and a half. But, you know, I really don't try to trash on players, but Carson Beck throwing a pick on the last drive was very symbolic. Brittany Maxey's favorite team is Dallas Cowboys and Georgia. All right, well, I can get behind one of those. And then Cheese It Man says, I like Dallas and LSU. Oh, very nice. I enjoy LSU. I like some Dallas Cowboy players. I'm just not a big fan of the team. I'm not one of those guys that like, oh, Dallas sucks. Like, I don't know, I just kind of let it be. You know, if your team sucks, your team sucks. If your team's good, your team's good. And as a fan, we should recognize what our teams are. All right, so back to the AFC Championship game. LSU or Bama? LSU, I hate Alabama. New England at Denver. So New England, they are minus 4.5-point favorites. It would be very interesting to see of how much a swing on the point differential for this championship game if Bo Nix was playing. So obviously that's the big headline is that Bo Nix is out with an ankle injury, broken ankle. And Troy Franklin is already out as well. So this just hurts the offense even more because, one, J.K. Dobbins is out. Two, R.J. Harvey is a good running back, but he's a better pass back. It's a great RB2 option. But the real key for this game is really random girl says yippee, yippee. The real key to this game is that the Broncos defense does enough, right? So they do enough for their offense to not have as much of a workload. So if somehow Denver can cause some turnovers, force a few 3-and-outs to really give Jarrett Stidham some extra chances, because I don't think he's going to produce every single drive. And not even produce points-wise, but just production. Because not every single drive that doesn't end in points is a failure, right? So if you get 50-plus yards or so on a drive, you're more than likely in field goal range, but, you know, it would be a tough outing if you didn't even get any of those 50 yards. So it's really just about creating momentum, finding your groove, and, like I said, putting some points on the board. Jarrett Stidham hasn't played, I think, since 2023. I think he's played in 4 games in total or something like that. He's 1-3. Not great, but at least he's got some experience, right? And Denver was -3 in the turnover margin in the regular season, but they were +4 against Buffalo. So how much of it was throughout the whole season? Was it just the defense not making enough noise? Was the offense making too much noise and turning over the ball? Or, you know, flip it over to the playoff game, was Buffalo just making mistakes, or was Denver's defense really just making really good plays? So that's going to be something to look out for. New England. So this is why I bring it up, because they were -1 they have been -1 in the playoffs so far. Yes, keep hitting those likes and whatnot. Random Girl says, I'm going to subscribe. I love how you put in so much work. Thank you, Random Girl 2642. I appreciate you so much. Chili Rainbow says, what up, y'all? What up, Chili? That's the guy right there. Cheese Man says, I think Seattle is going to the Super Bowl. Think you might be right, friend. Think you might be right. Hit that like button on your way in, please, friends. I really do appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And keep those hearts going. They really do help out. But New England, they're -1 in playoffs so far. And it's crazy because the Houston Texans in their last game, Patriots last game, they had 5 turnovers, right? That's insane already enough. But then you look at the New England side, and they had 3 turnovers. You know, it's really tough there because you look at it, oh, wow, Houston really sucked. You know, they really put up some bad numbers. But then also, if you look at the New England side, they didn't do too great either. Yeah, I know the weather wasn't great, but it was at home. You're used to playing in these kind of conditions. So it makes me think, you know, what has to be done for the Patriots to not lose the game? I think they're good favorites. 4.5 points. I think that's fair. I would move it up to 5.5. Maybe even 6 points. That's a big spread. Maybe 5.5 to make it a touchdown game, like a true touchdown game. But I don't know. I think that they have to really just play their bread and butter. I think New England just has to play good football for 4 quarters. You know, obviously that would be great. But at least maybe 3 quarters. I think they could spare a quarter. But they really do need to have bread and butter offense. Don't try anything crazy. Get the ball to your playmakers. That's what you've been doing all season pretty much. Let Drake May make some plays. And they have also had 9 sacks forced in the playoffs this year. And if they can put some pressure that they've been putting on Herbert and C.J. Stroud, I have no doubt in my mind that they could do it to Jarrett Stidham, right? The question is, will they do it? You know, can they take away the pass game, the weak pass game that's already there since Bo Nix is gone, and make them have to figure out something on the ground? You know, I think the whole point for the Patriots would to be make the Broncos scratch their head, make Sean Payton literally think to himself, what can I do? You know, make them run out of options. Have Mike Vrabel really run this game into the dirt and just take over. So with that being said, we're going to make our prediction. Um, 3 p.m. kickoff time, Eastern. It's in Denver. Over-under is 42.5. You already know we're hammering the under. There's no way that I think the Broncos score more than 20 points. I feel like that's not impossible, but I don't know if I could put money down for Jared Stidham to do that well. And of course, New England being minus 4.5-point favorite. So let's go ahead and ink in our prediction. We will have New England winning the football game, and they will be going to the Super Bowl. And I believe that New England will probably win. Let's go. I think they might smash them. 27. Let's go right under the under and over, or the over-under. 27-14. I think Patriots are going to walk in there. I think they're going to absolutely dog walk the Broncos. Maybe not a slap to the face more so, but I think they're just going to play better football that day. And New England's going to go back to the Super Bowl as if they haven't been to enough, right? But it's okay. It's really okay. They've gone through a lot. Patriots fans, they've actually been pretty humble from what I've seen because they know that they've been going through a lot. But don't miss the game, 3 p.m., CBS or Paramount Plus. Don't miss it. All right, NFC Championship. So who is going to be facing New England in the Super Bowl? We have the Rams at Seattle. Seattle, they are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is at 46.5 points per game, or point per game. 46.5 points for the game. 6:30 p.m. It's on Fox. Don't miss it. Both teams played for the number 1 seed in Week 16. That's a huge headline. We all remember that overtime thriller on Thursday Night Football. Seattle walked away with a 38-37 dub. It was a great game to watch. There's a lot of back and forth. My biggest question is that what it takes for Seattle to win the game? Does it take an overtime, 1 point, differential win for them to beat the Rams? They did play earlier in Week 11 where they won, or the Rams won 21-19. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. And they still managed to only lose by 2. So I'm very curious to see how round 3 goes because they're 1-1 against each other so far this year. And it makes you wonder how much do I trust Sam Darnold? Okay, yes, I know that they blew out the 49ers. Just lost my brain. They blew out the 49ers, but how much of Sam Darnold did they need? Okay, I know it did great, and what was that, Week 16 against the Rams? I know he did great, but he had to force overtime. He had to play catch-up. How much of that game will he have to play catch-up? Is he going to have to play game manager, catch-up? What's going on here for Sam Darnold? Because last game he was 12 for 17, 124, 1 touchdown. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like game manager Sam Darnold. This is the playoffs. We don't really need that. I think we really need some step-up play in a sense because I don't think that on the opening kickoff are the Rams going to allow a return for a touchdown. I don't think that the Rams are going to be held scoreless for the second half. Fun fact, good stat to know, in the past 3 games, and 2 of them were the 49ers, in the past 3 games, the Seahawks have allowed 7 points in the second half of those 3 games. So the second half of those last 3 games, a total of 7 points have been given up by Seattle. Incredible. That's how you win football games, essentially. You don't allow any points in the second half. You get off to a good start, hold the lead, win the game. That's kind of what their formula has been since their last loss in Week 11. But I'm just very curious to see how Sam Darnold does because I know he did great-ish last week, but Kenneth Walker had 22 touches, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That carries a lot of weight that Sam Darnold does not have to carry. Defense did great. Special teams did great. It was just an overall good football game. But how much is Seattle going to need Sam Darnold? Are they going to create a game where they won't need him? Or are they going to find themselves in a situation where they do need him? And I just don't see any situation. Well, I don't see any situation. But the situation that I see unfolding would have to be that Sam Darnold is going to be needed. How much of that? I don't know. But it's going to be a very, very close game, I believe. And for the Rams side of things, they just need to play their game similar to the Patriots. Play their bread and butter. Let Kyren Williams get a little hot here and there. Get the ball to your playmakers, Puka and Devontae. They will be open. Even Parkinson, a great tight end for them. Get him involved. Just start doing what you've been doing all season, all postseason. I know the games have been tight, but they've won the games. They find out ways to win, similar to the Broncos. So that's what I'm very curious to see which side of both games is gonna make it a game. Who's gonna control most of the game? Um, it'd be curious to see what happens. But I think what the Rams really need to do, if they want to win this game, is to have their best defensive game of the entire season. Um, I'm not asking for 5 turnovers, 4 turnovers, maybe even 3. But if you can force a couple, I think that helps a ton. You're taking the ball away from that Seattle offense twice, and allowing your great offense to lead the way and score. Um, so I think they just need to have good pressure on Darnold, stuff the run, and just be better on both sides of the ball. Special teams, I think both sides will take care of it, but Rams really need to step up defensively, and Seattle needs to step up offensively, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, that's a great clash right there. I think the Rams offense versus the Seattle defense is, I think, the better mesh of good football, if that makes sense. But I think the most important part would be Seattle's offense versus the Rams defense, because we all know that the Rams can score points. We all know that Seattle can stop, people from scoring points. How much of that is going to be a factor for both sides of the ball? Alistair Taylor says, what do you think about Seattle Seahawks versus New England Patriots for Super Bowl? What is that? What number are we on? 60? Are we on number 60? No. Oh my gosh, I think we are on 60. I think that would be a great matchup. Let me give my prediction first and then a little preview. It's a great question, though, Alistair, if I'm saying that correct. But don't leave. We still got to give our prediction. So Seattle's minus 2.5-point favorites. I got to go with the Rams. I chose them not the beginning of the season, but earlier in the season. I still have to pick the Rams, but I'm going to say that it's going to be really close. I'll probably go with let's go 24-23, Rams last-minute field goal. That's going to be a really good one. That's going to be a close matchup. Whether it's going to be a Stafford last final drive win or the defense holds them or the Rams holding the lead the entire time and the Seattle Seahawks just run out of time. We'll see how that goes. So my prediction, I think it's going to be the Rams versus the Patriots. But if it is Seattle, I think that'll be a great matchup to watch, especially having, both teams with a new quarterback, in a sense, that have never made it to a game this big in their career. Matthew Stafford's already done this. If we look at all the quarterbacks that are currently playing for their teams, Jared Stidham, that's insane that he's here. But Bo Nix got him here. Even if Bo Nix was playing, he's never played in a game this big. Drake May, nope. Matthew Stafford's the only one. Sam Darnold won his first playoff game last week. So it's going to be a very interesting game to watch. So again, for our predictions, we have New England winning 27-14, and then the Rams winning 24-23. So that'll put the Rams versus the Seahawks versus the Patriots. And boy, oh boy, would that actually be a really good game. That would be a really good game. Ben Clark says, great analysis, sir. Golly, there's no way that Ben Clark's in the chat. We are blessed, friends and family. We are blessed to be in the presence. Alistair Taylor says, yeah, that makes sense. I hope so. I want to make this stuff make sense. It's not complicated things. But yeah, what a great show. Drop your predictions in the next 30 seconds or a minute or so, and then we're out of here. And then I'll screenshot those, and we'll see who's the closest. Make sure you put those predictions in, and if no one does, I guess I'll be the closest because I was the only one. But yeah, good stuff. I didn't look at all of the, make sure you drop those predictions. Hurry, hurry, hurry. But I didn't see all of the finalists for the awards, but I did see that the Falcons had Xavier Watts. I'm thinking of Billy Bowman. Xavier Watts and James Pierce Jr. up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Tough. And we still didn't make the playoffs. Choose a Man says, I'm back like you never left, bro. Appreciate you. We have New England winning 27-14, and then we have the Rams winning 24-23. It's going to be some good matchups. All right, friends, that has been about a minute. Pats Seahawks rematch. I can see that, Ben. I can totally see that. I just don't think I trust Sam Darnold until he gives me a real reason to trust him. Like I said, that Seattle defense was really good last week. They didn't really need the Seahawks to do much. I could have put a Q&A sticker. Drink cereal milk. That's like the little prompt. That's weird. All right, friends. I'm out of here. Watch the games with some friends and family. Have some good food. Enjoy the time that you have. God bless you. I'm very blessed to be able to do this. So praise Jesus for real. And Ben Clark says valid. No, you're valid, Ben. You the GOAT, bruh. All right. Peace out. God bless. Be kind to one another. And